Good afternoon, Guardians. Welcome to another special episode of Tower Casuals. Of course, since it's a midday episode, it's me, Corey's at work being responsible. I, on the other hand, am at home being a degenerate, and joining me in my podcast debauchery is none other than the jack of all trades, Joasis.
It's your boy.
It's your boy, Joasis. Joe and I have made this something of a tradition of attempting these raids the day they come out. And I gotta say, I think we thoroughly got our ass beat in contest mode.
D2 Crota strong. Let's just put it that way.
Of course, we are talking about D2 Crota. Excuse me, I'm still very under the weather. I definitely did 4 different runs of this raid this weekend trying to get a clear while fighting the flu and the week-long migraine. It has been a long week, Joe. It's been a really long week.
Josh had an extra mechanic on top of everything else being sick.
Yeah, I had the down bad mechanic. Joe, let's go ahead and let's talk about this raid because it's so different from D1 Crota. There is a mechanic throughout the entire thing, and you find it out. It used to be when D1 Crota, you loaded in and you just got to run and dive off into the Hellmouth. You have to start with a little mechanic this time, the Chalice of Light. And the Chalice is something that you use in every single encounter to a fault. I hate this thing. I absolutely detest the Chalice. What do you think? Because the first place where it's clear that this raid is going to be different is at the beginning of the Lanterns, when you have to pick this thing up, and all of a sudden, you have the Stacks of Darkness, which is no different than D1. But then you realize the second Lantern's not lit, and you realize there is a mechanic where you have to dunk this thing, and you have to relay race it. You have to go to every single one of these Lanterns. There's no skip. They took the skip out.
Yeah. That's kind of it turned what felt like it used to be like a 3, 4, 5 minute encounter to like a 10-minute encounter.
Yeah.
And it was really it wasn't great when like you would get all the way to the end and then like there were just too many people dead and you didn't have reses and you just couldn't pull it off. It really kind of makes it suck when you fail towards the end of it.
Well, and then they throw like 3 unstoppable ogres at you.
And don't forget about those swing and swangers too. And
okay, so the swing schwangs are here.
Swing and swangs.
If you've done anything hive themed in Destiny 2, you know that there are swinging hive lanterns in fucking everything. They're here. They can get glitched, and they look like they're in one place. I assure you, they are still moving.
They can still hit you.
There are some that are 2 back-to-back. There are some that are going frontwards and backwards. You have to time your runs. I have done lanterns 3 times now. And let me tell you, I think I know every fucking way to get around these things. I think I know where all the holes are. I spent probably a collective across those 3 runs, like 8 hours in fucking lanterns this weekend between contest and the 2 runs I tried afterwards. I like that this encounter is a challenge, but it is like, if you were going to make it this long, or if you were going to make it, I don't know, like this, not mechanic heavy, I think it's too long by about 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh yeah, and the from what I understand, the challenge makes it even longer.
The challenge is to get it done without anybody accumulating 10 stacks of darkness.
No, that's the like triumph.
Oh,
the
okay.
challenge is I believe you can only light the lanterns that have a deposit thing next to it. So if there's like four in a row, your ass is walking.
It's pretty rough. Um, I like the encounter though. I like that there's not a skip. I'm gonna put it that way.
Oh yeah.
I enjoy that there's not a skip. I would need to look at an exact map of D1, but I feel like this is a lot longer than D1's maze was.
Um, it might be. I know like it takes a lot longer in this one because of us having to like
I mean
stop
that
at every
that's
lamp.
probably a good point. I just
Yeah.
remember in D1 when you would grab that ledge at the second lantern, you could
Oh
cheese
yeah.
your way up to the ledge, and then that was the hill. You just ran up the hill,
Oh yeah.
and you were at
I'm
the
a
plate.
I used to solo Crota like three times a week, every week back in Destiny One. So I'm I'm very familiar with this this ledge, or you
Yeah,
getting up and losing all the stacks of darkness and then jumping up there. Yeah.
I I gotta be honest here. Lanterns is nothing compared to the next encounter.
Oh my god.
Building the fucking bridge. Now
I
this
I
was
I have I have PTSD, Josh.
this was tedious for a lot of us because I don't know that any of us ever did this legit in D1. We all used the sword cheese. And we all climbed up to the top of the building and used our snipers. I did attempt to do that, and they definitely put an invisible wall
Oh yeah.
and like
There's
turn back
all
and shit
types of
like that.
walls up in there now.
Oh
Yeah. All
man,
types of walls.
they were like, "Nope, y'all motherfuckers aren't doing this." I attribute to the fact that they could never patch that in D1 to the fact that this was a raid that ran on the 360 and the PS3. So
Yeah.
like updates definitely were not nearly as prevalent for those games. Like it was like emergency patches, not like, oh, we're gonna give you a patch every single week. Like there's a
Oh yeah.
reason why after the Taken King they ditched it. Um and I think that's something to keep in mind is they took effectively the last time this raid came out, this was a franchise that was still being played on the Xbox 360 by a not insignificant amount of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the result is everybody having to learn this. The bridge encounter is actually so simple once you realize it. On contest, this was an ass whoop.
Oh yeah.
This was an ass beating. Anybody who made it, I mean, we were watching streamers and content creators that are extremely good at this game, like probably in the top 1-2% of the entire player population, failing like
Struggling on this
repeatedly.
encounter.
It
Yeah.
I felt really good about myself, similar to when I was doing A tracks and I got there like an hour and a half after Aztecross and I was making more progress than he was. I was feeling really good about myself. Um so this encounter, little wacky. You gotta get three people on plates. The only way you can cross the bridge is a new thing. So previously, when you were empowered by holding the chalice in the lanterns, you could light the lanterns. Well, now it's the only thing that allows you to pick up a sword. And you have to use a sword to cross and kill the sword bearer or the kill the gatekeepers. Excuse me. And you can only cross if you have the sword or the chalice. And this is a royal pain in the ass. Um, we found that it was helping to shoot tethers over there, which is an experience. Let me tell you guys, it is an experience trying to do that. Um,
Trying to shoot a tether a quarter mile.
we all got very good at shooting tethers. We got plenty of practice on contests, so it was great on normal. Um, and when you get past that, you have the infamous Shrieker hallway. In D1, the strategy was literally run past everything. You cannot do that this time. You are introduced with a new mechanic in this mini encounter, which is you have to get empowered by the chalice, and then you can jump through, and you are the only one who can jump through that veil. And it is terrible. I have not been the one to have to jump through it. I do not plan to be the one to jump through it.
I can
The
only imagine
enemies do
what that
not
was
stop
on
coming, though.
contest.
The enemies do not stop coming. It's rough. It's not great. And also, the secret chest is in the exact same place that it was in D1, so good luck getting to that.
What I will say, because I we attempted to get that chest the other night, I got through the door
Uh huh.
and I was in there. Chest didn't spawn, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Ugh.
So apparently you have to get through it and also dunk the buff in the like buff dunk thing before you go in there.
Yeah,
Like at the end,
it's it
I did not know that
it's
at
not
all.
great. It's rough,
Yeah.
but overall, kind of fun mini encounter.
Oh yeah.
I think the biggest change to the raid come in the second the third and fourth encounters. Excuse me. Lanterns is fairly different, but still like kind of straightforward. Ear Ute though, um, man. So it used to be you had to kill the wizards and the shriekers on each side when you ran in, and then you just beelined it to the center and beat her ass. Not so much anymore. So you still do that, but you have to start passing the chalice around, and you have to go kill wizards that are in certain locations, and the locations do change. And depending on which time you're fighting her, you have to do, if it's the first damage phase, you do 3. Second, you have to have 4 people empowered to do it, and the last time, all 6. I do not ever want to know the chaos of having to do this with 6 people empowered. It should never get to that point. If it gets to that point, you should feel bad.
Oh yeah.
You should feel real bad. There is no reason for this unless it's on contest to ever go to 6 people. And if you were doing this on contest, you're a good enough player that, you know,
Yeah, if you got to ear you on contest, you shouldn't have been uh having to go into
no. I actually
third damage
really
phase.
enjoy this encounter though. You can time it to where you get about like 37, 38 seconds of damage on her each phase. You can one phaser. We nearly one phaser on our first attempt.
Oh yeah.
And now, well, was with some people who like maybe don't raid as much as Joe and I do. And then we went in the second time. That was it. Just bam, just destroyed her. Quick in and out 2 phase. You know who else was a 2 phase though, Joe?
Big Daddy Crota.
The son of Oryx. The son of Oryx. Crota, who has a bitchin' entrance, by the way. He's no longer over by the Oversoul. He spawns right in front of you. It's terrifying. Um, I will say, much more manageable with the ads this time than in D1, fighting your way out of that center crystal room.
Yeah, they really didn't go too crazy on that.
I
I was
actually don't.
expecting them to
Well,
be.
okay, so I won't say that. I think it's partially they did not spawn things behind us. They saved that and did that in Iriute.
Yeah,
With
the
all the yellow bar
ear
knights.
Utes ad spawns, like the amount of heavy ammo you can make in there is
It
nuts.
was pretty great having a Banner of War Titan, and I understand
Oh yeah.
like we're now talking about doing it on normal. We did not make it this far on contest. Having Banner of War back there, or even like a Banner of War or a well, was helping so much. I was literally primarying with my LMG, and part of that's because like I ran div for the encounter, and so therefore you get certain allowances with your heavy. But I was doing that to try and keep ad spawns under control. Um, Crota though, man, this is the one that we knew when it was being talked about coming back, and when it was rumored, and when it actually came back. Corey and I were like, how on earth are you going to make this a challenge? Because it used to be, oh, stand on the ledge, shoot your rockets, shoot your galleys, and then oh, somebody's going to jump up, beat him a couple times, run away, rinse and repeat.
Well,
Kudos to them for making this an encounter where you are constantly on the move.
in Destiny 2, they took that ledge away. Now
Yes.
the boss can go into the crystal room as well.
You
So
can go into the crystal room. There's no window in front of you anymore. It's gone. I love the change that they did here
oh yeah.
with the
Same.
with the plates of light. Now, Joe, walk me through, because I had a different job during this. Walk me through what goes on with the plates of light that you guys. So you guys had the light buff, and then I noticed we were switching off on these plates.
So in the whole rest of the raid, if somebody needs to take the chalice of light buff from you, they can just do it
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. In the Crota fight, there are specific like rings that you have to stand in to swap it off,
Correct.
which sounds like it's more of a nuisance, but actually it makes it a lot easier because nobody is ever like accidentally taking it too early or whatever. It it kind of creates more like order of operations, uh, having to do it that way
Yeah,
in
and
my mind at least.
it adds a pretty aggravating I don't know, notch to the fight. Um, I think once we get the encounter down, this won't be a problem at all. It's really trying to keep the ad spawns under control because, unfortunately, where those plates are either right in the path of the wizards and ogres or they're directly next to Crota. Um,
Yeah, Crota's kind of everywhere that you need to be in this whole fight.
yeah, I don't know. I like I like this encounter because you can easily take Crota's aggro. Crota actually is not the problem. If he gets close enough to slaying the sword, he's a problem. But if he's just shooting you, you can easily duck behind some cover. Um, you gotta kill the Boomer Knights up in the towers in order to spawn the ogres. Which again, I like this change. Um, Spawn the ogres and spawn the sword bearer. Sword bearers are pretty tanky. There's some tanky motherfuckers, but
Tanky as hell, and they regen health if
yeah, they do
you're not
regen health.
paying
Oh my
attention.
god. They're basically champions. They're barrier champions without the barrier. Well, I guess overload would be more apt. They're
Yeah,
essentially overload champs. Um the big one for me though was because I was like, how are the swords gonna fit? How are the swords gonna fit? I was fully expecting that to be sword bearer, and I'm thrilled that I only had to do it one time. Um you go up and you just beat the shit out of him with the sword to break his overshield. But you can only hit him for the couple of seconds, just like in D1 Crota. You just get like 2-3 swings with it, and that's it. Um, and then once that shield is down, everyone just gets to attack. You get like 30 seconds of a damage phase. Well, helps, but not a ton. Honestly, what was helping us live more, I think, were healing rifts and what you call it's healing nades. But we did the strategy of Joe was hitting him with the tractor cannon, and the rest of us were just beating the shit out of him with lament.
easy
Um,
two phase.
easy two phase. It also helped that we had two Gathering Storms and a Shards of Galanor.
Oh yeah,
That definitely helped. Um, just God, how fucking glorious! We nearly got him down, and then it took us a little bit to get him back there. The second time that we got him to that final stand, though, he went down so easily. We saved our supers. He's trying to run around. He's got two arc staffs in his face. It's great.
oh
It's great.
yeah.
Now the other
I
big
really love that that
oh,
boss
that's a
fight.
fun encounter. That's a fun fight.
They did such a good like I even the other shit that's like kind of annoying. I like it better. I'd rather
So
it be a little bit more.
the other change that we had here is Necrochasm is back. There's no land beyond. I'm sorry for everybody who wanted the bolt action sniper. It's not here. I'm sorry. I'm sure it'll be along at some point, but it is not in Crota as of right now. Necrochasm, though, being a quest, I really like that it's a quest. What I don't like is how tedious the quest is. Because let me tell you something. We have no idea how often those oversouls drop, but I saw people saying they farmed Crota for 6 hours yesterday and got one oversoul out of it.
All that
It is
that ain't good,
estimated. It
baby.
is estimated right now that if you're not getting up, and some of those challenges are pretty fucking hard. That if you're not doing the challenges, you're looking at probably 20 weeks to getting this thing minimum. And I saw some people trying to defend this and saying, "Well, what about RNG? You probably be waiting 20 weeks. Look at all the people with Vex Mythoclast." I can't believe I'm going to say this. I saw Miss 5,000 Watts making this point on Twitter. She was like, I'd rather have a chance every week than having to wait 20 weeks for something that, the handful of people who were able to get contest clear already have and already have the catalyst for. It requires 20 oversouls to get the gun. It requires 50 for the catalyst.
Oh, it's 50.
It's
I thought it
50.
was 35. Jeez,
I believe it's 50. There is
that's
some, you have to have
insane.
something like 70 total for both of these things. That is insane.
I don't like that.
I'm gonna say right now, like if that's accurate, because I mean, nobody has been able to get the gun, obviously, that didn't do it during contest. Um, I would like to see. I want to see how often now with reset having happened today. I want to see how often the oversouls actually can drop. If they can drop from every encounter, if you can get a guaranteed first run of the week oversoul from each encounter, and I mean it's probably going to be per account. I cannot imagine them letting you do it per character.
Oh yeah,
If they
no,
let you do it
because that
per
would be like 2 weeks.
account, yeah, if they let you do it per account, okay, that's about a month you're looking at with some of the challenges. And if you did it weekend one, you've already got a few. You're looking at probably about a month to get it, which I don't think is too bad. I think that's pretty reasonable.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's asking you to do the raid, 4 or 5 times. The catalyst progression is what I have the problem with. I'm going to say like those oversouls need to weigh a little bit heavier on that catalyst. But again, I want to reserve the judgment until we're able to get in there and do some testing ourselves to how often these things can drop, or if you can farm them. If you can farm them out of Ear Ute, I'm going to be an Ear Ute. I promise you. I'll be there. I'll run Ear Ute for like 4 hours to get oversouls. But good shift towards a quest. Bad that you have to do this.
Oh yeah.
So
I am a big fan of quests, but not of time gated exotic quests, especially when it's time gated like this.
yeah, I don't mind time gated stuff. I think that my core issue here is like I think back to the Divinity quest, and I don't know if Necrozm should have just been handed out like Divinity, but I guess my thing is you handed out Divinity to everyone who just did the quest and does one completion. Well, you have to do the puzzles, obviously. You do
Yeah.
the puzzles and you get a completion of Garden of Salvation. The puzzles are not that bad except for the last one.
Yeah.
Um, that's like getting past Sanctified Mind is the hardest thing that you have to do for that gun, and that is the most useful support weapon they've ever had in this game, to the point where even with nerfs it's still absolutely
Oh, it's
essential.
never gonna be like not essential.
I guess my thing with Necrochasm is I think it would have been cool to reward Husk of the Pit, and then I think like maybe doing another run, maybe 2 runs rewards the gun, and then your oversouls only have to count towards the catalyst.
That would be a good change.
I think that would have been a good compromise. Because like yeah, I understand, like listen, it's a raid exotic. I dislike the RNG method because so many people once they get the exotic, they're like, oh, I'm done, I don't have to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And that some people get all the luck, get the full set of armor, get the exotic, get god rolls on the weapons. Now with crafting there's more incentive to go grind these, but before, I mean, you could be done after 3-4 runs.
Oh yeah. That what I will say, that has kept me rating
Yeah,
like more consecutive weeks, because like I Ron and Vow and Kingsfall, I kept grinding those until I got all the patterns. So I do like crafting raid weapons, but it can definitely come with its own shit.
yeah. Speaking of shit, let's move into our drops. I had very bad luck, just like on our Ron run. The saving grace of Ron was that I got a Rufus's Fury um, out of the final chest, and it was a red border, and I was able to buy one. That was the saving grace for me. I got all armor in every other encounter. I got 3 chest pieces and a helmet. I'm very aggravated. I spent probably like 15 hours total in this raid this weekend, just with various teams trying to clear it. Um, in between the sickness and the star field of it all. And let me tell you something. if I never see that fucking chest piece again, it'll be too soon. No,
Hopefully.
no. Here's the thing. Like, I think that the armor looks so cool. I'm so glad it's the Age of Triumph armor. I'm so happy it's the Age of Triumph set
It
because this
is one of the best sets
this
that
needed to happen.
they've ever done. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you still have the normal set though. Did you notice when if you take damage, your glow goes away?
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it does.
I
Somebody
did not know
somebody did a damage
that.
test on the moon the other day, and they were in third person using a sword. And when they took damage, all the glowing parts went away, and then
That's
they popped back
really
out when they
cool.
healed.
I
Like,
that's how they need to do these. Either I'm fine with like that is you can't really complain about that. Or I'm cool with like them being ornaments for like Inksfall, Master
yeah, I
Delta class.
suspect that they're gonna have to give us. Now, I will say, I think at this point, locking the other two sets behind Master Mode feels bad, but at the same time, there needs to be an incentive to go do Master Mode because the weapons
Yeah.
aren't it, and like, oh, you get if you're going for the title, or you get you want the ship or the Sparrow. That's about it.
Yeah. They really don't do like a lot of incentives to
No,
step into
and when we first saw
master
both
mode.
sets in the trailer, we were like, oh, I'm sure that the Age of Triumph set is going to be for Master Mode. Nope, it's here.
Nope,
It
it's
is
just
the base set, which is good.
here it is.
The Crota armor kind of sucks to begin with, so like the base Destiny 1 Crota armor kind of sucks. So I'm glad they went Age of Triumph style here.
Yeah.
As for the returning weapons, Joe, you got some good loot. Go ahead and break down for me the ones that you got.
Now you said good loot. I don't think I'd describe it like that. I
Listen,
did.
you got
I
fucking
did.
weapons. I don't want to
I
hear it
I
from you.
I got one weapon and 7 armor pieces in my 2 runs of this.
Joe, I got
But
chest armor on all three that you can get it from. I don't even want to talk about it right now.
I got 3 warlock chests or a warlock chest, a warlock helmet and one song of Earute. Is that what? No, Fang of Earute, the scout rifle.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it is Strand. It can't really get any great roll combinations from what I saw, but there is a really cool perk on the Crota weapons, and it's not the origin perk. It's called sword logic,
yeah.
and basically you just get a damage buff for every kill you get, and it scales to be higher if you kill like a major or like a boss, which
Which
I think is very
on
cool.
things like Abyss Defiant, that's going to be an absolute night. An Oversoul Edict. This thing is going to be a nightmare.
I can't wait to get Abyss Defiant, and I can't wait to get Swordbreaker.
So yeah,
Those
let's
were
break
the two that I was most
let's break down what we
stoked
got
for.
here because this is a strong contender, I think, for best raid loot pool
Yeah,
currently. When you look at current metas, so Song of Earute, which is the arc machine gun, one of my most beloved Destiny 1 raid weapons. I loved this thing. It was an absolute shredder in D1. I used this on so much hard content. Abyss Defiant, which is the solar auto rifle. Our buddy Fox got an extremely good roll on this.
fuck you,
Uh,
Fox.
Fang of Earute is a Strand Scout now, so still very excited about that. In terms of where you can get these, there are only 2 weapons that are locked to specific encounters. So our next weapon is Swordbreaker, which is the Strand Shoddy. You can only get that from the bridge. And I've heard nothing but good things about this shoddy.
Swordbreaker and like the Taken variant of Swordbreaker were my 2 go tos in Destiny 1. I
You've got
I, I miss it.
you've got that, and then our final weapon is the Word of Crota, the Void Hand Cannon. Paul Tassi calls it maybe the most iconic weapon from Crota. Um, I would probably agree with that in D1 terms. In terms of like a specific weapon like you think of when you think of Crota. For me, it'll always be Song of Earute. just because I'm not a hand cannon guy. But totally agree. Word of Crota. One of my best friends use that all the time.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great loot pool. What is that? Six weapons? Six
Six
weapons.
weapons. Yeah. Yeah.
Six weapons, man. All craftable. I'll be honest right now. In terms of a raid that we've gotten in recent memory, the Ron weapons are fine. I think that outside of
The Ron
uh,
weapons have very like niche uses.
I think well, so I think Rufus is probably the best like
Oh yeah,
all around AR right now.
easily that and Amit is
Yeah. Oh
making a
God, I forgot about Amit.
resurgence
I
here.
think
Yeah.
in terms of like a primary, in terms of primary AR, it's probably the best. Um, especially crafted. Briar's Contempt, obviously, still very good, especially if you're using both of those together. Like you're getting that damage bonus then.
Oh yeah, that
Um,
set bonus that we need more of, Bungie.
yes, and then I would say the only other one I would say out of Ron is the Trace Rifle, which I still don't have. Still a little upset about that.
Really?
Yep, have never gotten a single
Never gotten
drop
a
of it.
drop? That's
Never
insane.
gotten a single drop. Yep, not
That's
happy about it
insane.
at all.
Yeah.
Not happy. Um, and I mean, obviously, the grenade launcher is completely forgettable. The shoddy is fine, but there's plenty of other good void shotties.
I want the grenade launcher to be good so badly because it looks so cool, but it's just not good.
And then I mean, like, I guess I think back like even a little bit farther, and like, I wasn't like I liked the weapons at the time, but now I look back on and I'm like, man, Vow didn't really have like great weapons to me. Like, I mean, okay,
Um,
so I'm gonna amend this really quickly before anybody gets mad at me.
I was about to say I think I'm in the
Forbearance, obviously, everybody loves forbearance.
yeah.
Um, but like I was using, oh Jesus, I'm even forgetting the name. I was using Insidious a lot. Like we have Justice Arc Pulses. Okay, we've got several of them now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Insidious has been topped, especially with the introduction of Voltshot. It's been topped. Um, I liked Submission. I used that a lot for, and then, but then they gave me Callus Mini Tool the following season, so I was like, well, bye.
It's a
I got,
good
I got that
thematic
Icos,
slot.
SMG, and Immortal all in subsequent seasons.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to go back to using a primary SMG right now that's not like Strand or something. And then they give us another baller one with the Stasis Crucible one this season.
Yeah, the new one is
I can't
pretty
wait to talk
baller.
about that. Now that the raid's done, I can finally play around with it a little bit more. Um, and like I guess the other most recent raid we've had is King's Fallen. Granted, I haven't run enough King's Fall. The hand cannon is very good, obviously.
I'll be real. There's not a single weapon in there or that I have from there that I actively use.
And that's the
I
problem. Like
like them, but
the
I don't
Scout and
use
the
them.
Pulse are both good options, but I feel like I have better options at home.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's a shame because like it's one of my favorite. It is. I mean,
They
King's Fall
look
is.
the best.
They look awesome. I mean, don't sleep on these ones. Word of Crota specifically with some of these shaders looks awesome.
Well, that was the unique thing that I think was solely unique to Crota and only Crota ever, if I'm not
Uh huh.
mistaken. Normal and hard mode in D1 had like separate loot pools. So I think there were like 12 total Crota weapons, but we only got 6 or like 10, and they only brought forward 6. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
Yeah. Um. There are a few other things that I kind of want to address with the loot pool real quickly. Um, I like that, like with everything being craftable too, it gives you the incentive to come in and do it. This is a raid that I think with the right group, you're in and out in like 50 minutes.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's not.
So I think this is a pretty easily farmable raid to me. It's going to be the go-to for spoils farming too.
Yeah, I appreciate that they didn't make it like too crazy, um, in like lengthwise, like add in any encounters or anything. I think that they kept it to have its own charm like it did, but they just updated it to like what we would expect in Destiny 2, which I think is their goal
Yeah.
for every reprise. It's just I don't think any of us had faith that like they could do it here, and I feel like they did, did did it at least.
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised at how good they not only made the raid, but how good they made the just I guess like the overall experience of the raid. Because when we look at Vogue, and I just gonna kind of segue into our next topic, when we look at Vogue and Kingsfall, as much as we love those raids, there were not any major changes. There were some slight changes and
Yeah,
tweaks, but nothing major. This is basically an entirely new raid.
this is a facelift to
This
epic proportions.
we have so um man, the amount of people who, if you cleared this on contest and especially on challenge, hats off to you, because it's fucking hard. It's fucking hard, man. I don't I don't know what else anybody wants me to say. It's hard. This was a true challenge. This is the least amount of players and teams to do a contest and or challenge clear since Garden of Salvation. The feedback was definitely heard from Ron and Kingsfall and even Val. Like, the numbers were for the first 24 hours were on par with Vow of the Disciple for 24-hour clears, and then obviously having a full 48 opened up for non-contest or for non-challenge clears to start getting through once we had the strategies and everything.
Oh yeah,
I also wonder how many of those were just boss clears. I genuinely want
that's
to know
true.
how many
Yeah,
people actually did all four encounters and didn't just jump in and do a Crota or something. Like, I saw so many people tweeting about, like, man, maybe I'll just hop in and do a challenge Crota, or a contest Crota, not challenge, a contest Crota. Even Joe
that's
Blackburn
true.
did it.
Yeah,
Joe Blackburn
you
fucking
just
did it.
jump in, grab Necrochasm, and dip.
I really considered doing it, but I was so spent and burnt out. I was watching a few friends who were streaming it on Twitch, and they somebody that I know managed to make it to Crota, and his team just couldn't seal the deal, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Um, so man, if you did it, hats off. This is not that was not an easy raid on contest and challenge, and this just goes back to something that we have now said. I think 3 raid recaps in a row. Make contest mode a permanent selectable option. Make it a permanent option. There is no excuse for why this should not be.
yeah, because that would stop all the Salt Agrippos of the world from complaining that it needs to be harder. Like they could go do that, and then we'll do normal,
I mean, I,
and
I only I only want to call anybody like
everyone's happy.
specifically out. Salt got an awful lot of unnecessary hate on his Twitch page when he secured fourth world first for
Which is
Elysium. By the
super
way,
impressive.
that is really
It's
impressive. I saw people trying to
super
discount and be like,
impressive.
"Oh, 3 of them came from the reprised raids." Like, okay, yeah, Vogue and King's Fall will be like, okay. He was still what, like a top 5 finisher on Deepstone, I think, before that, and
Yeah, and
then
they got what
he
Val?
did it on Vow.
Yeah, which
So,
Val was a very
yeah,
tough
hats off
raid. I
getting
mean, I
first
know.
on fucking Rolk, man.
Yeah,
Rolk and Relics, man. Oh Jesus. Um, I really enjoyed the contest aspect of this though, but I would like contest to be a permanently selectable thing, because that way, if you do something like this in the future, you can be like, hey, if you clear it on contest, you're guaranteed the exotic, but you have to clear all 4 encounters on contest.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
I think I really do think it should be something you can't just jump in, grab the Crota checkpoint and get Necrochasm. It would need to be like, you have to do all 4 encounters. Like, they have to tick off on a box. Like, there needs to be a triumph and they tick off.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Well,
maybe
and
the one thing you can skip is the Shrieker room or something.
I think like the easiest thing they could do too is just like put it back to 24 hours, but have contest mode be in the game and have a special emblem for contest, a special one for the first day clear.
Yeah, so the proposal that I don't remember who it was that I talked about. I want to say it was Nerd. I think me and him talked about this last fall with King's Fall. Um,
And we're generalist.
what I would like to see is maybe a special emblem for those who clear in the future for brand new raids. A special emblem for those who clear in the first 24 hours on contest. Have another emblem that is available on contest no matter when you clear it, whether it's
Yeah,
in the first
yeah,
24
yeah.
hours or not. And then the normal raid emblem. If it's a reprised raid, have one for the 24 hours. Have one for a normal have just one for contest, no matter what, no matter when you clear it.
Yeah,
Have the special emblem be for if you clear
for the
challenge.
challenges. Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
I also think on the
Perfect.
reprised raid, I actually think it would be really cool if challenge mode was available at any time.
I just think they should have challenge mode be like hard mode and then
Contest
have
needs to
the
be there
master
no matter
mode.
what.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to like on certain raids of these, I would like to go back and do do
I'm
do a
gonna be
contest mode.
honest.
But
If I can be really frank, I think that contest mode should replace master mode. That's my controversial take of the day.
I don't know if it's controversial. They're just not going to do it because technically master is technically harder than contest mode.
It's supposed to be, and it definitely isn't. I've been in master encounters where I'm like, oh my god, contest was actually like harder than this,
Yeah, that's true.
which
They
is how it
they
should
just
be.
need to like not have champs be
Yeah,
the di-
that's what it keeps coming back
dictation
to is
of hardness. Yeah,
yeah. Again, like Crota and Ear
difficulty.
Ute show how you can have these challenging encounters on contest without any sort of champs whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I only want to think about trying to survive in the crystal room of Ear Ute on contest, given you couldn't use Banner of War or anything like that.
I heard people were just Phoenix
Yeah, that's what
protocol
I heard.
chaining wells all over the
That's what I
place.
would do at that point.
Yeah.
Chain wells, shoot tethers, whatever you got to do. There's enough orbs, you're going to get your supers back.
Oh yeah.
Um, all right. Well, then, Joe, let's move on to the final piece of business that we've got here tonight. We are going to rank the raids, all the Destiny 2 raids, including the ones that are sunset. We're going to do this with a twist because of course, the reprised raids are in here now. Wrath of the Machine is still countable. Joe, have you done Wrath of the Machine?
I have not actually.
Okay.
That's
Well,
the only one now I've never
Joe
done.
can abstain. I've done all but get the actual literal final bullet into access, so fuck it. I'm ranking Wrath of the Machine. Um, we're going to rank both versions of Crota because this is so distinctly different, and I think they're in wildly different places on our rankings. So let's go ahead. What do you have in last place? What is the worst raid in Destiny 2's history?
So we're talking Destiny 2,
Well,
but
we can
we're
talk Destiny 2 or 1. What's
okay.
the worst raid in the Destiny franchise?
Worst raid. Probably what was the one raid layer on the Leviathan, the Vex one?
Oh, Eater of Worlds, that's
Yep,
mine as
that's
well.
probably my worst one. I have to get up like a chart of all the raids.
Go ahead and get it up. Unfortunately I remember all of these. Um Eater of Worlds, absolutely last place. We're not gonna wax poetic too much on these. We've done it on enough pods at this point. I got Eater of Worlds at the bottom. I've got Spire of Stars directly above that. I actually don't hate Spire. I like Spire of Stars. I think it's kind of fun, but it just isn't fulfilling as a raid. I get that it was supposed to be a raid layer. It's basically a dungeon, but it's just not. Outside of throwing shit at the spaceships, it's not fun.
Yeah, they are like there was a couple of unique things in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably do the same.
And then I'm gonna be honest, I've got D1 Crota's End right above this. Crota's End moved way down in my rankings because of New Crota's End. I've got it here because of the simplicity, and it's essentially a dungeon. The only reason this isn't last for me is because I'm really nostalgic for D1 Crota.
I'm the same way, and I gotta keep it at least one other one higher.
Okay, so what do you
Um,
have here?
I'm gonna throw Leviathan in there,
I was gonna Leviathan's my next one.
and then
Um,
D1 Kuroda's gonna be my next one
yeah,
after
so
that.
we flip flopped. The Leviathans and D1 Crota definitely at the bottom. Above this, I got to go Scourge of the Past.
Oh, see, I'm a big fan of Scourge of the
I like
Past.
Scourge. I just don't like it that much.
I'm probably next up. I'm probably gonna go Garden of Salvation.
See, it's I like that we keep flip flopping. I've got Garden as my next one, next tier up.
All right, all right, all right. See, I gotta, and then I'm probably after that gonna go Crown of Sorrow.
Oh god, forgot about fucking Crown of Sorrow. Oh man, forget it. Crown of Sorrow goes right, but Scourge. Crown of Sorrow goes right, but Scourge. Move Scourge up a spot. Crown of Sorrow gets to go down there. I fucking hate Crown of Sorrow. I hate that raid so much. I
I
don't.
that is the
I
one raid I have, I think, a singular clear on, and
I don't.
that's all I did.
Here's the thing: with the right team, that's actually a really like smooth raid.
Oh
It
yeah,
was so
oh yeah.
smooth when the last time I did it, to the point where Johnny and I were just emoting in the corner of our area because we had it on lockdown. But trying to teach a bunch of people to do it, and especially doing it the season it came out, it was unbearable.
Oh yeah.
Um, that is a very very rough raid. Um, so Crown, Scourge, above Scourge, I'm going Garden. I got to put Garden up here. God, I fucking hate Garden. I don't know which I hate more, Garden or Crown.
I like Garden, but
I
only
think
with
they're
a
well
good
made.
team.
They
Yeah.
just suck.
I just don't want to do it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's well made. It's a good raid. I just don't want to
Yeah.
touch it. All right. So after this, I'll
We're
probably go Scourge of the Past
yeah.
there.
We're kind of in that like mid tier of like
Yeah.
they're fine, but
Of
I
like,
like
I like them, but there's ones above it.
yeah, they're fine, but like if they were in the rotation, I wouldn't be running to do them.
Yeah.
Um, so we're kind of getting up towards that upper echelon now, and now I think is where because the ones that we have left for those keeping score at home, we're a little over halfway through. We've got Vault of Glass, we've got King's Fall, we've got Last Wish, we've got
Deepstone.
Deep Stone, we've got Ron, we've got Wrath of the Machine, and we've got D2 Crota. Oh, and we've got Vow also. We've got Vow.
Now, are we're going straight off of like personal preference, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Straight up personal preference. So those are the 8 that we have. I have to go Ron next, just because of the simplicity of it. Ron doesn't belong in that top tier to me.
Yeah, Ron is fun. It's just not
It's
what the
fun.
rest of them
It's
are.
fun. It's
Uh,
busted. It's
I'm
always
gonna
good to
agree with
lay
you.
the hit on Nez.
Oh yeah, to get that crispy one phase on Nezarek.
Yeah. So I'm going Ron here.
I'm also going Ron here, and I think we've
Um,
used like all the same raids up
we
until
have,
now too.
and that's why I was trying to do the math in my head. We've used all the same ones up until now. Um, this is where it starts getting a little challenging, I think, because
Yeah,
now you've got the good shit. You
got
got
the
that
good
good
ones.
shit. I'm gonna go a little controversial here. I'm going to go. Well, no, it's not gonna be controversial. I'm going Deep Stone.
Okay, yeah, our Deepstone and Vault of Glass, I'm assuming, are gonna be flip flip flopped here,
Yeah, are you going Vault of Glass here?
and then yeah, and
Yeah,
then
I'm going Vault
Deepstone.
after this. Yeah, I just my only rationale is I do think that like it being the first raid holds like legacy points in
Oh
my
yeah.
eyes,
Oh yeah. Oh
which
yeah.
I think is it's stupid. Like as we continue getting good raids, and like Crota has shown how you can re-release a raid and it be a brand new experience,
And it'd
right?
be like great, and there's still stuff to discover and
Yeah,
all this type
but it makes
type of
it
good
really
stuff.
hard for me to sit here and like keep defending Vogue, which has so simple mechanics in it that we're literally doing them in seasonal activities now.
Oh yeah.
Outside of like shooting the oracles in order, like
Yeah,
everything
like
else we're doing in seasonal activities. So like, what are we doing here, guys?
I
Um,
love Vault of Glass, but I think I would prefer I could only do one of them. I'd probably say a Deep Stone.
I probably would too, just from a fun perspective.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, God, the Deep Stone Lullaby holds
Oh
so
yeah.
many points in my mind.
Just all like
Like the
literally
raid
like
is
calm
fine until
before the
that
storm.
point, and then you're like, God damn, that's like maybe like the best in between section in any raid.
Literally the calm before the storm.
Yeah, the calm before it's Tanics again.
Exactly.
Um, so that moves us to our top five, which
Top
is going to be.
five:
We got five left.
King's Fall, Crota, D2, Vow,
Wrath of the Machine,
Wrath of the Machine, and then what's the other one?
Last Wish.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. All right.
So I am gonna go here at number five. I'm gonna put, and I know that there are people who are going to scream about this. I am just making this the Wrath of the Machine spot to make it easy on both of us.
Yeah, I'm gonna also
Um,
put that because I have seen like
yeah, it's the
videos of it.
only raid that I've only done
It's a
one
dope
time.
raid. Yeah.
I've only done it one time. The Death Zamboni is awesome. I think that the puzzle is really cool that you, or the maze you go through is really cool. Of course, Outbreak Prime came out of it as the raid, one of the all time great raid weapons, if not the best raid weapon that they've ever done. Um, but the other four I think are superior. I'm going D2 Crota at number four.
Same here.
I can, I
I
hate that I can't do this. I cannot, in good faith, put this in the top three,
oh god,
knowing what
yeah,
else
no.
we have on the board.
Our top three though I feel are going to be drastically different. So
Probably. I just we've done a whole pod on D2 Crota. D2 Crota, it breaks into the top five. It's a while since
good
we've had
time,
one break into the top five.
good time.
But great time, great raid. Want to run it a few more times. Top three. What do you got at number three, Joe?
I might get hate. I got King's Fall at number three.
No hate. I personally disagree. I've got Vow here.
Hmm.
I've got Vow. Actually, do I? Man, actually, I think I'm going to say something controversial. I think for the first time, I'm going to bump Last Wish.
To number three.
I'm going to bump Last Wish down to number three. And let me explain
Damn.
my philosophy behind Last Wish at number three. It's a long fucking raid.
It it
It's
it
a
it is.
long fucking raid.
But
Um,
so is King's Fall.
it's longer than King's Fall. I don't have the nostalgia for it the way that I do King's Fall. King's
I
Fall
can
is
agree with that.
largely what kept me playing D1. That King's Fall essentially is my D1 send off. I really did not play it. I did not like Rise of Iron. King's Fall, I was fully intending to be my last truly great D1 D2 experience, whatever it was going to be. If it wasn't for Forsaken, I probably wouldn't still be playing the franchise anymore. Like that's how high I was going out on the highest note possible.
Oh
Last
yeah.
Wish is really cool the first time you do it. Seeing Riven never gets old, but there's like 7 encounters in this. The Queen's Walk is the definition of something that can take 5 minutes or it can take 3 hours.
Yes, but
Um,
I always go back to like what you're doing in it.
and that's fine. I
Yeah.
think it's fair that like I think our final four here are all like really good stories that tie back to the main
Oh
storyline
yeah.
of
Mm-hmm.
Destiny
Yep.
that we've got here. Like you look at the ones that we had at the beginning, the Leviathan ones, don't really matter in the scheme of things. Let's be totally honest.
Oh yeah, yeah, they don't.
Scourge of the Past, I guess a little. You have to know who the main players are here, though. Deepstone doesn't matter at all. Vault is a story that literally takes place outside of space and time. The story of the Guardians inside the vault is cool. Our
Oh yeah,
story is
oh
not.
yeah.
But these top four are all set aside because of the stories that they tell
They're
throughout the
amazing
raid and what they
stories.
mean to the overall importance of the Light and Dark saga.
Oh yeah.
It's no coincidence that they brought Kingsfall and Crota back when they did to do the lead up to the end. People deserve to experience those stories. I got Last Wish here at number 3. It's long. The loot pool was never that impressive. Like,
Now it is, but
I'm not judging it based on,
but
and I will give it some credit now, but for like 4 years it's been just shit loot.
and also I feel like it would be a lot cooler of a raid if they fixed the Riven encounter, because I've never done it the way you're supposed to do it, because the way you're supposed to do it's like kind of complicated.
I find it very funny that they've had to leave that cheese in for so long because even Bungie devs can't do it legit.
Yeah.
And that's like, so that, and like hearing like those stories is what makes me want to keep it up there at number 1 or number 2. For me personally, I admire, it's the best designed raid. It's the best designed thing they've ever done in Destiny. I truly do not know if it will ever be topped. I truly don't know.
Oh yeah,
We'll
and
see.
the like, I don't think we're ever getting another day one race that is anything
That
like
is
that
the
either.
greatest. That is one of the greatest video game things I've ever seen. Is the day 1 race, and also shout out Dado 2402, 2402 man. But like people like to clown on him for that, but that is still, even finishing it then is still one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, well, and plus that was the end of the old Destiny Dynasty too. Of
Yeah, that was kind of the end of the old
Redeem.
guard. Yep, that was the end of the old
Redeem.
guard. What do you have at number 2?
Number 2. Well, so Kingsfall was my
you went
number
Kingsfall
3.
at number 3. I went Last Wish at number 3. What's your number 2?
Last Wish is my number 2.
I've got Vow at number 2. I could be persuaded to move Vow up to number 1, but the nostalgia factor really is going to win out for me.
I don't think Kingsfall is ever getting topped for you.
I mean, I've flip flopped on it and Last Wish for a very long time. If you go back and listen to the other recordings, these 3 have been in the top 3 since Vow came out, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah,
and I think it's going to be. I think Kingsfall, as much as I personally have it at number 1, is the easiest one of these 3 to supplant, because it's a Destiny 1 raid ultimately. As much as I like the raid, it is Destiny 1 mechanics for the most part.
It is still the old way of Destiny.
Yes. But I mean, it is like a 1A, 1B for me, because in the defense of Vow and the Disciple, Vow is, I think, structurally the most intriguing raid.
Yep.
I think that it's definitely the most complicated to learn since Last Wish because of all the fucking symbols.
The 3 million symbol.
The 3 million
collection.
Symbols. Yeah. So it's no coincidence those 2 are up at the top. But I mean, you add that in. I know I said like, I wasn't super impressed with loot pool. It's a good loot pool. It's one of the best raid armor sets.
The Vow set has always been super
I think that
cool.
Though that should weigh into this. So I'm saying that as I have Kingsfall at number 1 with its bullshit armor. If they give me the Age of Triumph armor, it's definitely staying at number 1. Old Rolk is gaining, though. I think Rolk is probably the best final stand. Not even probably. It is. It's straight up the best final stand in the series. It's the best boss fight in the series, as far as
Rolk
I'm concerned.
Has been my favorite boss fight ever.
Riven, if you did Riven legit, I think that would top it.
Yeah.
And I like, so the thing that I keep coming back to with Last Wish, like these 3 are all so close for me. Like, I think these 3 are all grouped together, and then Crota's just like kind of like, hey guys,
Crota's like the
Crota's the
younger
meme of the
brother.
guy at the party who's like standing off in the corner. They don't even know I'm here.
They don't even know I'm in here.
Yeah, they don't even know I got let in. Crota has made it past the bouncer. He's made it into the VIP room, and these three are just like snorting cocaine. Okay, they're snorting coke.
Snorting
They
coke,
are
punching each
they're
other.
dude. They're hitting each other. They're chugging ace. It's great. That's what they're doing over there. And Crota is just like he's like the 18-year-old kid
Crota's
being
like, yo,
exposed to this for the first time.
Oda's the kid in the corner with the fake ID and is like, oh my god, I got in.
Crota's McLovin from Superbad.
Yeah, exactly.
The other three raids are Seth Rogen and Bill Hader. There's a number of pop culture references I could make here that I'm going to resist from doing. But I mean, in the argument of out, I knock it because I hate the third encounter so much. But that's part of what makes it such a good raid. Is the relic encounter is phenomenal.
That encounter is insane and
Fuck
great.
you, whoever designed that and came up with that. I fuck you, but I love you. I respect you so much for that.
That
Um,
and even the caretaker fight I enjoy a lot. It can definitely be a pain in the ass, but I do like the
I like it.
idea of it, and also like what you're fighting. It's like, isn't it like a scorn abomination that they
Yes,
fed like a worm to?
something like that.
So like a true like a bo- abomination. And I also really love the touch that it's Rolk like giving us the instructions the whole time, essentially, which I don't know if that's ever happened in another raid, except yeah, no, I don't think that's ever happened in another raid where the boss like took over the comms, except Nazarek, obviously. But
Yeah, I like this idea of the bosses taking over our comms. Like the witness is going to do it too.
oh yeah, easily.
I'm man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this final run that we're going to go through, leading up to the end. Um, just man,
Yeah, I
I
feel like
don't.
and that's kind of what I really liked about this showcase. I don't know where the fuck we're going. Essentially, like I know that we're going into the Traveler, but that's about it. Because Witch Queen, you had a big narrative beat in the trailer. Lightfall, you had multiple big ones in the trailer. Final Shape, we really don't know a ton about, and that's super exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I'm very curious to see what ends up happening here. Obviously, Joe Blackburn did tease in an interview with PC Gamer last week that, and Corey and I didn't touch on this. We're gonna cover it on the next show here in a couple days. But said that the raid for the final shape is not the end. That there's still one more. There's one more mission that'll come after that that will cap
Ooh.
off this saga. I have to think that this is going to be a Last Wish style thing where yeah, you'll beat them in the raid, but they're going to make the final defeat something that everybody gets to participate in.
A 12-person activity
I would love a 12-person activity.
in
I
the
think
city, witness all in the sky,
that would be cool.
beaming
I think
down on you.
it'll be something that I think can be like replayed forever.
Oh yeah,
You can't make that a one-time thing. And I think it'll be tacked on to the end of the campaign. The other thing, I don't remember if it came out of that interview, but I saw it floating around that there's only going to be like 7 campaign missions for the final shape,
that makes sense.
which
They've moved into an 8-mission model. I would like more, but I'd rather them not dilute anything.
well, with them saying that this is going to be linear and that you can't even explore the destination fully until you beat the campaign, it makes sense that they want to streamline it.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, the raid is going to be a big part of it, but I know a lot of people groan and were like, oh my God, I don't want this playing out over a whole year. Joe promised this wasn't going to happen. It does very much sound like that is going to be like the raid is
The thing is
somebody
done.
gets world's first, and
Yeah.
boom, the mission is unlocked. So I will not be participating in world's first. I will be sitting there waiting for the mission to unlock and then jumping right on in.
That may end up being the thing I do too.
I think that I think my days of day one, or of contest clears, at least contest attempts, are over. I got the one, and I know that it's the easiest one. But
But
that also is kind of my stance
you
that
still got it.
if I'm able to get a contest clear, like, it's probably too easy across the board. In all fairness, um, I still don't think like 40,000 people clearing it in a weekend is horrible. Um, but I understand the sentiment from the rating community. Um, I enjoyed the final thoughts on D2 Crota, I guess. I enjoyed how hard and stressful that this contest mode was for people, because it gave them that actual challenge that they wanted. Now if you could just make that challenge selectable all the time, and I mean, you can give better rewards out
It would
too.
be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you can give out better rewards. I don't know what you can do beyond just like bragging rights, because obviously you can't lock loot behind. I think you could lock
I mean
cosmetics.
you can.
You can lock cosmetics. I don't think
You
that
can.
weapons. I don't think weapons should be locked behind. I don't think that exotics should ever be locked behind a contest mode. If it was a game without PvP, then I would make the argument for it. In a game with PvP, I
That's
cannot.
probably fair, yeah.
I can't say that at all. And a game with an ever changing meta, I can't make the argument that it should be locked behind.
I think the best thing they could do is like or ornaments for
I
even
think
like if you want to
ornaments would be
do
cool.
ornaments for the weapons too. I
So
mean
yeah,
that would
I'd be
help out a
okay with
lot.
that. I'd be okay with like special mementos or something that you could
Yeah.
only put on those raid weapons.
Also, why don't they have a raid memento yet? Like
So I
that
want to
seems
say
like
that I want to.
such a slam dunk to me.
I'm gonna save that topic for Thursday, actually, because I want to go more in on that just in general. But I'm extremely disappointed in how they've handled mementos. Joe, any
'Cause,
final thoughts on D2 Crota before we
um,
get out of here? Because
no,
if
I
not,
just
we're
want to get in and do more of it.
yeah, big same. I'm looking forward to doing an actual run. I've gotten some sleep now. I'm still sick, but hopefully that's clearing up in the next day or two. I'm looking forward to getting another run in this week.
Done fighting
Hopefully
the
getting some weapons.
early 1700s Spanish flu.
Oh my god, I feel like I am. But Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. I wanted to get someone in here who had done D1 Crota and who actually got some raid loot, unlike me, to come in and talk about it. And we did Nerds Rankings.
Exactly.
Uh, as always, you guys can catch us every single Friday morning. New episodes post of the main show. This is gonna be our last not regularly scheduled show for quite a while. We've gotten through the showcase, we've gotten through the raid. Now I can just kind of go heads down on the season, which
Starfield.
we're really enjoying the season. I'm enjoying Starfield right now. Of course, the next episode of Xbox Casuals is going to post on next Tuesday. It's going to be big Starfield blowout. That's all we're talking about for the whole episode. I have squeezed several hours of Starfield in between Crota attempts this weekend. I played a lot laying in bed, but I've been doing it. I woke up early this morning to get a bunch knocked out. Looking forward to getting more Starfield, and of course, finally, I've hit a point where there's actual consequences to the game, and I'm really loving it. So beyond that, I don't think we have anything else to promote. Joe, do you have anything you would like to promote?
I make music, Joasis on all streaming platforms, and I'm kind of trying to stream a little bit and post clips to YouTube.
Joe had an amazing clip from one of our runs where he
I did.
finished the lanterns solo, and it was great. It was great to watch.
Yeah, that's Vesper Radius, solely Vesper of Radius.
He had no
Carrying me
idea
through.
how close to his timer running out that he really was, or to the respawn timers. It was blocked out by his face. It's great. You should watch the clip. We'll post it in the Discord for everybody to see. But that was great. That was one of my one of my favorite moments, I think, of this weekend. But from me, from Joe, from Corey, thank you so much. And of course, we'll see you Starside.